What is going on, you guys? Niccolo Maserati here. Today, we are going to be talking about how to add realistic motion blur to your videos in Adobe Premiere Pro. The best software to use to add motion blur to your footage is After Effects, but I do understand a lot of people primarily like using Premiere Pro, and that's totally cool. So the clip that we're going to be using today is a clip of a drone flying over some trees and a road. We're going to take that footage, speed it up, and add some motion blur. But before we get into it, let's run that intro. Hi guys, like I said, today we're going to be talking about how to add realistic motion blur to your footage in Adobe Premiere Pro. Before we get into all that, if you enjoy this kind of content and you want to see more, make sure you hit subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified every single time I upload a new video. So what is motion blur? In normal life, when we see things move at a fast pace, like a car whiz by or a bird flying really fast, we naturally see a blur effect. So when shooting video and photography, we try to replicate that by controlling our shutter speed. For example, most movies are shot at 24 frames per second using a shutter speed at 1/48. Essentially what they do is they just double the frame rate, which is also known as the 180-degree shutter rule. What this does is this creates the most realistic motion blur to what our eyes see in the real world. So if we take a piece of footage that was shot at 24 frames per second with a 1/48 shutter speed and digitally speed it up in either After Effects or Premiere, motion blur won't match the speed because the clip wasn't shot going that quickly. So we need to add motion blur in post. So that's just going to add a little bit more realism to the clip and I guess kind of make it more cinematic. So anyway, let's just get into Premiere. All right guys, so we are in Adobe Premiere Pro, and as you can see, I have this clip imported. It's just a clip of a drone going over a road with a bunch of trees around it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to speed this up. We want this clip to around 1.5 to 2 seconds. So we're going to right click this clip and go to speed and duration, and we're going to change it to 1500. We're then going to click OK, and that's going to bring it to around 2 seconds. We're then going to go to the beginning of the clip and hit I. We're going to go to the end of the clip and hit O, and that's going to create in and out points. We're then going to go to sequence and go down to render in to out. And that's just going to make sure that it plays back without any choppiness. So you can see we've sped up our clip and it actually looks pretty cool. But we want to add some realistic motion blur, and it's really simple. All you have to do for a clip that you've sped up like this is right click it again, go to speed and duration again, and then we're going to see this time interpolation at the bottom here. All you're going to do is you're going to change that from frame sampling to frame blending, hit OK. We're going to go back up to sequence and render in to out. You can see in the preview before we've even started playing the video that it's added this motion blur. So let's check it out and see how it looks. I don't know, that looks pretty cool to me. So the second way that you can add motion blur, let's say you want to add some motion blur to text or a logo or something along those lines. I'm going to drag in my logo here. So you can see if I wanted to create motion, we just need to create a couple keyframes. So if I drag over this to the left using the position in our effect controls, hit the toggle animation, then we go to the end of the clip and we move it all the way to the right. And then we just set our in and out points. So we can see that we have this animation here of our logo going from left to right, but we don't have any realistic motion blur. So instead of using the position here, we're going to delete this. We're going to go to our effect controls and we're going to type in transform. You're going to see this distort folder. We're going to take that and drag that right onto our logo footage, and you're going to see this pop up. From here, we're going to set a position keyframe for the very beginning part of this footage where the logo is on the left side. We're going to move to the end and we're going to drag this over here. So it's exactly the same as it was when we did it in the motion part of the effect controls. But from here, what we're going to do is we're going to uncheck this use compositions, I can't talk, composition shutter angle. We're then going to change the shutter angle to 180. Remember that 180-degree rule that we talked about earlier? There you go. So now you can see it's created this motion blur. And now we have some realistic motion blur. All right guys, and there you have it. Those are two different ways that you can add motion blur to your footage or your logos or your text or whatever you're trying to do in Adobe Premiere Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got something from it. If you did, please make sure you subscribe, hit like, and I'd love to hear what you think of this in the comments. All right guys, I will see you in the next video.